So Beth, sometimes when I'm a bit tired, I get a bit dyslexic. So anyway, I went down to the park to do some Tai Chi. I came back with chai tea.
That's a good one. I like that one. So I have a couple for you, Healthy Living One dad
Oh,
jokes. I'll start with the dad jokes that are the doctor told his patients to stop using a Q-tip, but it went in one ear and out the other. Ah, today I was checked by Dr. B. Gee, I hope I will be staying alive. And the last one, what do you call your sister if she only has one leg? Eileen. Come on, you know those were good.
That one was in my household growing up all the time. I love it.
But
come on, Eileen.
the best one's on my shirt. Tai Chi is like duct tape. It fixes everything. So there
I
you
like
go. Whether you have Tai Chi or whatever, Chai, whatever you have. I can't even say it.
Chai tea. Oh my goodness. All right. I feel like we should have a limit on the dad jokes allowed in our episodes. Welcome, Beth Young. We're so delighted to have her here. She obviously is a Tai Chi instructor, and we'd love to hear more about that. She's also writing a book, and she does incredible work with homeschool children. And I'm so glad that you're here. She's part of the Monday Morning Mastermind. I'm just going to shout that out. And I get to meet with her every week and watch her growth. So welcome, Beth. Welcome to the Masterful Morning Show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And I'm excited to finally meet Talos, because when I first met you and Melanie at the training you were giving.
Oh, this is the day. You never met him. Oh my gosh. I totally missed that.
Yeah,
I am
so
real.
I did
He
too.
is real. We promised you he's real.
I was wondering, but now I have proof. He appears to be live, mostly. But I need to shout out to your followers how grateful I am for what you guys brought to the table in the training you brought. It opened up my mind on different ways that I could improve in what I was always already trying to improve upon. And because of that group, I took it because I wanted to expand my business, but I really, really wanted to start really launching my book. And that's where I joined your mastermind group on Monday morning. And that's why I am literally about 50 pages away from my personal final edit on my book. Now I need a real editor besides my husband, who's good at that, to do the next step. So thank you. You guys have influenced my life and the world for good, because this is going to be a great book to help with our relationships. And that's what it all boils down to when all is said and done in life, right?
Yeah, awesome. Oh my gosh, you make me so happy. So, Beth, I'm going to kick this off with kind of fill in the gaps of whatever I missed in your introduction, and let us know why you do what you do, because I feel like you do so many things. You're a master gardener. You're a really great networker. So why do you do, what's your why? And what else are you doing that I don't know about?
I secretly work for the CIA. That would be a dream job back when I was in college. So we'll start at the beginning. I grew up in Arizona, one of two children, and I have a stepbrother 15 years older. I discovered when I was 20 that I was from my dad's fifth marriage, and that my brother was from his second. And I had no idea there was anything in between. So let's hear it for doing family history. But I have wonderful family members that I love, but I am different. My half brother said, Beth, you just really aren't the normal gene pool person in our gene pool, because alcoholism runs in our family. It has been for generations. It's what's been killing my father's side, especially prematurely. And so when I was growing up, I saw the impact it had on our family. Now, I was very blessed in that there was no physical neglect or anything like that. It was more emotional, but it influenced the way I looked at life. I remember back in the day when I was in probably 5th or 6th grade, you guys weren't even born yet, they had this campaign to stop smoking. And they said, just draw an imaginary red line halfway down the cigarette. Do you guys remember that? So both my parents smoked. My mom is currently battling COPD and emphysema because she smoked for 60 years till she moved in with me. And so I opened up both cartons of my parents' cigarettes and did that little red line around it, thinking they are going to be so happy that I did that for them. Oh my goodness. I thought I was going to become an orphan, or that they were either going to kill me or kill themselves for what I did. But we survived it all, and they at least understood my intent. But because of the smoking and drinking, I didn't want a lifestyle like that. I wanted a healthy lifestyle. So I began living that lifestyle from a very young age, and I was determined that it was all that was going to end with me. And unfortunately, because it's genetic, I only have control over me. And so I did have a family. One of our children for about 3 years was a hot mess when it came to drugs and all the crazy that they got into. But the good news is they survived that. They're now happily engaged in a very, very promising career. The best parent I've ever seen for my 6-year-old grandson. And I'm grateful. And that part, and what I've discovered is it's all part of the journey. You know, it's not about what life does to us. It's about what we do with life. And so I tried to do that. And so I'm one of those people, they say, you know, the average person goes through 3 to 5 careers in their lifetime. I'm proof of that. My degree is in criminal justice. I put myself through college arresting shoplifters. And if you ever want to hear a really funny story, I'll tell you about the time I literally scared the crap out of someone when I arrested them, but we won't go there today. I love matching minds with criminals. I'm really good at it. I have to keep my mouth shut during any show or movie where you're trying to figure out who the real bad guy is, because I know within the first 30 minutes. And I'll say, I know who did it. My husband's like, don't tell me, don't tell me. And I am right about 95% of the time. What I didn't know about myself is that I am like, I'm an addicted nurturer. I just am a nurturer. And that probably evolved because of not being nurtured so much when I was a kid. Who knows? But I am a hugger. This COVID stuff is killing me. And I'm a nurturer. And I learned when I was dealing with addicts that there's a fine line between nurturing and enabling. And so I've learned a lot about myself as I've gone through these things. So worked in white collar crime for about 10 years, where I worked managing a loss prevention department. Then I worked for Rockwell for a while, thinking that I would, you know, catch spies, but no, that's not what I did. I was finding out when people lost their clock radio, someone stole it off their desk. And so evolved into employment law, and then started having children, which I love. 5 wonderful adult children now. And so that was my career for a while, where I was raising our 5 children. I'm grateful we moved to Texas so that I didn't have to work where we lived in California. And we didn't move because of that, but it evolved and allowed for that. And then, so that career number 2 was raising children. Career number 3 is my children would come home and complain about those nasty substitute teachers they'd have. And I'm like, and I looked to see what it took to be a substitute teacher. You just need a degree. And I'm like, a degree in criminal justice probably is a good degree to have to deal with kids anyway. So I became a full-time substitute teacher for about 3 years and taught the children that I was not a substitute teacher. I was a guest teacher. And however you treat your guests when they come over for Thanksgiving dinner is how you get to treat me. And I, in turn, will treat you that way. And I always had teachers calling me, wanting me to be their sub well in advance, because I could mother their kids, essentially is what it boiled down to. And I'm a goofball. And so the kids had fun, but they also knew that I would not let them off the hook on things. Then my next career was, my best friend's husband is a really good internet marketer, and I attempted to be his office manager. Now I say attempted because he was all over the park. He had 25 different projects he was doing, and my job was to keep him focused to get them done. Never accomplished that, but I helped run his office for 5 years, but I learned a lot about marketing, which again came in happy and helpful. Then I realized I just need to go back to my roots. I really am a big fan of healthy living. And so that's when 5 Pillars of Health was born, where I focus on what we eat and drink, movement, relationships, quality sleep, and stress relief. And about 2 years into that, I had an epiphany that the overriding factor about our health, if we make just a simple change in one of those 5 pillars, our health changes dramatically, both mentally and physically. And I discovered that if our stress is not being managed, it affects what we eat, it affects our relationship, it affects our sleep, it affects our exercise. So that's when I decided 2 years ago to be a certified Tai Chi instructor, and I love it. And so I get to volunteer there's 2 senior centers here in our county, one in Grantsville and one in Tooele, and I teach Tai Chi there. And thankfully, we're opening back up. The senior center is opening back up the middle of April, and I'll get to have my seniors back. I cannot wait. And they're just the cutest little thing. I have some little old lady, she'll waddle in the middle of a snowstorm saying, I had to come. My knees feel better when I work with Beth. So I love that. But I also teach Tai Chi classes to homeschoolers, because this is a great resource for them to help them transition from one, subject to another. But it also teaches them mindfulness at a young age, which I wish that term even existed a million years ago when I was a teenager. And so I'm teaching them at a young age about mindfulness and weaving in one of my pillars each week to teach something, about healthy living. And then I also have just regular adult classes that evolved to Zoom. And I'm a self-proclaimed technotard, and I was forced to go online to teach Tai Chi, and it's worked out fine, but it was painful. So I teach those online, but starting in May, I'll be back doing my live classes, Tai Chi at the lake. And I as a volunteer, I know, yay, Melanie will come, bring the whole family. Starting April 9th, I will be doing a free class once a month up at the Veterans Park here in our area. So bring folks to that, you local person, as well as the 4th Saturday of the month, I have the free Tai Chi at the lake for families. And it's just a fun way to start off your day at the lake that's right by my house. So that's how you do evolve through 5 careers unexpectedly. But it's great as you make that transition, because then you kind of discover your why. And my why essentially is I want to educate, I want to inspire, and then I can empower others to do exactly what I did. And so in whatever their way needs to look. And so that's kind of my why. I want to just nurture the world. So here I go, nurturing the world. And about when I worked for that internet marketer, one of the many projects he had, because he's a big advocate of marriage and keeping them strong, is he developed the marriageadvice.com website. We had a boatload of people that were following us, and each week there was an article. I would write an article each week, and then I would also have formally educated people that we would get articles from. My light just flipped over, sorry. And there was a lot of great content there. Well, after I quit working for him and things just changed and whatever, he gave me as a gift, a going away gift when I left Texas, a bound copy of all the articles I had written. And he said, I've started your book for you. And so that was the beginning of my book. And he, of course, gave me the Word document too. So when I moved here, I was just slowly working through turning that into a book that I call an Eduspire, because it's going to be 52 different chapters. Each one will be a marriage and family relationship type thing, talking about, our relationship with our spouse, our relationship with our kids. And one of them is like, do you have a warring heart? And talk about the weapons that we often use in our most sacred relationships, and maybe 5 different weapons that we shouldn't be using, and how we could change those to be more powerful. And then at the end of each chapter, I give contemplative time where it's like, okay, what's your view of those things you were reading? Which one stabbed you in the heart and made you realize, okay, I could do a little bit better there. And then below that is elevate your view. And then I invite the reader to just ponder on, okay, what right now, where you are in your life, are you ready to do and change and work on? And that includes involving your spouse perhaps in that discussion, and always includes Heavenly Father in that discussion, so that you move forward with inspiration rather than desperation. And then you write it down. And so I'm excited to get that out there. And as I've been reading through it, I can actually tell what was going on in my family each time from different articles, because I'm like, I remember when I took my son's door off of his bedroom because he slammed it one too many times, and just how that was all woven into things. So it's been a grand adventure, and I'm excited to finally feel like now's the right time to do it. And that's why I'm really pushing through it to get it going and published so that it's out there this summer. And so I'm excited about that. And so there you go.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it as well. Just so you know, Kai is watching live and she said, I'm learning so much about you. Tai Chi at
Uh-oh.
the lake is the best.
Kai, you
That's
cannot tell
awesome.
on people about my shoplifting experiences, okay? That's between us.
Hi, Kai. Good to see you. That's actually perfect timing. Kai is part of like how I really kind of see you, Beth, is in a networking sense. I mean, you came to us through a local thing. You and I are in the same city area, pretty much. And with that, you were able to help kind of expand my knowledge around local businesses. So, and when you talk about being nurturing, I really see that within the way that you network as well. What is it about networking that, I mean, you do it with such a passion and a drive, and we all know, especially in this community, how important it is. But what's your driving factor behind the networking, and what have you gained from being able to do that so well?
Well, what I discovered, and it's interesting because I happen to be a member of BNI, Business Networking International, and their mantra, shall we say, is givers gain. And I believe that 100%. But when I first learned about BNI, I'm like, they're just another networking group. I can do that without them. And so I went to all these other local free networking groups because I was trying to grow my health and wellness business. And what I discovered is when I'd go to these free ones, you get what you pay for. People will say, oh yeah, I told someone about you. I'm like, great, how can I follow up with them? Oh, I gave them your card. Well, what's their name? Well, I think it was Joe. I'm like, how does that help me? You know, and if they really need me, they might forget about me. And so I would then have one-to-ones with people that I thought would be a good connection for my business, or that I could be help, you know, vice versa. And so, but what I have learned truly, I have completely embraced the giver's gain, because I have found what I'm looking for now is, where can my expertise and my contact sphere, because my email is Beth the Connector, and I have had that for 20 years, because I love, as Melanie knows, I love connecting people. I just do, because I feel like there's good connections for everyone out there. And if you have the right contact sphere that you're engaged in, you can just do amazing things and you can flourish. And so I really like connecting. Having been in BNI for 7 years, I have helped people in my network of BNI make almost $100,000 in referrals from the referrals I have given them. Now, what comes into play there is it was the right kind of referral so that they could have some closed business on that. But also it's because I trust those people in that group. And I have not made $100,000 in return from BNI. And I'm okay with that, because I have some great relationships. I've evolved how I do business and why I do business. And I just love helping people be successful. And a good portion of that is the nurture in me, but the other portion is it's just a smart business decision to want to help others be successful. Having been in Texas 25 years, if someone feels like they're beholden to you, they will do everything they can. You bring them, you know, a pot full of soup because they're sick, and next thing you know, you're getting a dinner every week for the next 4 months from someone in Texas, because they just don't want to be beholding. And I don't give referrals for the expectation of getting them back, but it just naturally happens because that's human nature. We want to give back to someone who's shown us a kindness. And even if they don't give back to me, if they give back to someone else, it's worth it. It's kind of like paying it forward. And so I really love that. And I also discovered it's good to get involved in your community in whatever way you can. And as Marion mentioned, I'm a master gardener, and I became that when I first moved here. I wasn't officially one for 2 years. It takes a while, but I took the class and I'm getting better at it. And technically I am a master gardener. I've done all the certifications, but I did that, one, because I wanted to know how to garden here, because it's very different than Texas. And two, that's something I enjoy. It's about healthy living, which is what I'm about. And I knew I would be surrounded by people that had at least similar thought processes as me. So I would encourage your listeners to think about groups or organizations or nonprofits that kind of stand with them in what they believe, both from a business standpoint and a personal standpoint. And you find a lot of joy and a lot of connections there, because, for example, in our Master Gardener group, there's one guy, he and his wife, they're the best, Jay and Maggie, and he actually is this amazing podcaster, and he's Dirt Farmer Jay. And I would never have met him were it not for the Master Gardener group that I'm involved in. Another wonderful thing too, if we can volunteer in the community, there's always good relationships that grow from that. Again, with our intentions being, I'm just here to help the community. In Texas, I was involved in it was called the FDR, the Friendswood Disaster Recovery Group. And it was a group of religious leaders who met once a month, but we were wanting to be there for our community. And then we had Hurricane Harvey, and that group was integral in getting, we had the Baptist church was where people were bringing donations for food and water and things like that. The Catholic Church, the Catholic Church was doing that. The Baptist church is where we're bringing all the hygiene, the cleaning, those sorts of things. And then our church was the one that was organizing all the work crews going out to muck out their houses, which is where you dig out all the wet, musty stuff out and put it on the curb. And we worked as a community, but I developed business relationships from that too. So you just never know where that networking will go, but find something you enjoy so that it's not a challenge. But if you go to a networking event, go with a friend, but go with a friend with the intent of introducing that friend versus sitting in a corner by yourself at this luncheon and not networking. But imagine how much more powerful it would be if Melanie and I went to the chamber luncheon, and instead of me saying all that I do, I would say, let me tell you about Melanie. She is so positive in the things she does in helping you change your mindset and realize your full potential. And she's involved in this great group that you would just love learning about her. Doesn't that sound better than Melanie tooting her own horn, saying, I'm just amazing and I will help, it's just different. And so if you're uncomfortable with going to networking and group events like that, go with a buddy that you can promote and they can promote you, and it's a lot more fun and you're more comfortable. So that's kind of a fun way to approach it.
So Beth, I had to laugh when you mentioned BNI, because I've actually been involved in 2 chapters myself in BNI down here in Australia, one in Sydney, one in Adelaide. So
awesome. Okay, I like you even better now.
There we go. So what got you into Tai Chi?
So there's another exciting story. I'd always found it interesting, but when my mom moved in with our family 7 years ago, I thought I need to find something she can do to try and get her engaged. She has macular degeneration, so she can only see the peripheral of her vision. Technically, she's blind. And so that makes it hard to get out and meet people. So I told her, we're going to go over to the Friendswood Senior Center and we're going to make you some friends so you don't rely just on me. This was about 4 months into the transition, because you can imagine the transition of teetotal and Beth having her mom, who smokes and drinks, move in with her and telling her, you ain't smoking no more, and you get a half a cup of wine now because you're too old to be drinking more than that, and you're not nice when you drink more than that. So after we got done with those arm wrestling things, we were ready to go out in public without the black eyes and the bruises, and really no one got abused, I promise. And I thought she could go meet, and I told her, and she says, oh, I don't want to be a burden. I said, well, they have a Tai Chi class and I'm technically a senior, so I'm going to go try out the Tai Chi class. So I brought her with me. We introduced around, and she didn't want to stay and chat with any of the people doing their little board games. So she came in with me to Tai Chi. She sat there and watched, and I did Tai Chi with these other senior citizen ladies that were all probably 20 years older than me. Sweetest little ladies, though. And about 40 minutes into this hour-long class, and as you might have noticed, I'm kind of a happy person, but 40 minutes into it, I thought, oh my gosh, I feel so joyful. I can't even describe how amazing internally I felt, because it was the first time I had really done something to that degree of mindfulness. And during that time, because I was so worried about where's this hand supposed to go, where's this foot supposed to go, I wasn't thinking about my husband, my 5 teenage kids, my business, my mom, what I was fixing for dinner. I just was enjoying the moment, and I was sold. I went twice a week for years, and about 2 years into it, I decided I can teach Tai Chi. So I just started teaching it without any certification to other people in my health and wellness world. But then I thought, once I got here, okay, I'm certifiable in many ways, but I needed to be officially certified in Tai Chi. And I love it because it's so powerful. There's over 500 medical studies about the both physical and mental health benefits that you get from Tai Chi. Anywhere from helping with anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, to if all you do is do Tai Chi as your new healthy living thing, you can lose 1 pound a month, even if you still eat garbage, but you should not eat garbage. But anyway, there's a lot of benefits. Right now, the AMA recommends Tai Chi over physical therapy for lower back pain, as well as like fibromyalgia. I have one of my students, there's no cure for a lot of these diseases, but Tai Chi is the only thing that is offered out there that can help reduce the effects of the disease. I've spoken with the Parkinson's group here as well, because it really helps with balance. And so there's a lot of things that it brings to the table, but it builds neural pathways. So things that I often forget, I'm forgetting less because I've been building more neural pathways, and we all can benefit from that. So there's a lot of, I'm always amazed when someone says, well, does it help with this? And then I'll Google it and look for a medical study done. I'm like, you know what? It does. It helps with Asperger's. Go figure. Yes. Let me work with your group. So it's surprising. It seems like there's more medical studies out there than I've read on the different benefits.
Well, Beth, that sounds amazing. Let's do it.
You want to do some Tai Chi right now?
Right now. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So I will apologize in advance. I'm going to put my transmitter in my pocket and it may get a little noisy, but let me show you a simple thing you can do to get centered. Stand up, Talos. I like telling him what to do. Hopefully you can hear me say that. Okay, so I want you to have your feet flat on the ground and imagine that your feet are in the earth. Your head, you're just kind of lifting with good posture. Your head's in the heavens. Your feet are shoulder width apart and your knees are just bent just a teeny bit, and your hips are tucked under, your shoulders are down. A lot of us, when we're stressed, our shoulders are like this. We need to get our shoulders down and you're looking straight. And this is just called a centering move. And our chi is held in our abdomen area. It's called dantian if you're in Tai Chi. And just hold your hands like you're going to hold your chi, but it's up against your abdomen. So you're touching your belly. And I want you to float one hand up with the palm down. And then when it gets over your head, you're going to bring it down with your thumb kind of going along your nose. Okay. And then you'll trade hands. But when you bring it down, then you hold it by the other one. And then the other hand's going to come up, float up, and it's going to go down by your nose. And we're going to add to this. So now inhale with the up, inhale. Exhale as you pull it down. Now imagine as you're inhaling, you're bringing in good energy. And as you exhale, you're bringing it into your body, to your abdomen. Now I'm going to be quiet for a moment and we're going to do another one just quiet. And in Tai Chi, we do everything in threes. So 3, keep going, 6, 9, 12. If you want to do this all day for 24 hours, that's okay too. But do it in numbers of 3. And when you're ready to end after, let's say 12, you stop, put your hands flat on your abdomen, slide your fingers together to where your thumbs are interlaced, and then take 3 breaths with your eyes closed. Isn't that wonderful? And keep your hands there for a minute while I talk. This is a good way to just calm yourself, but also help you get centered and energized. Before we started our event today, I was outside in the grass so I could get the benefit of grounding, and I did that centering. Now to lock in Tai Chi, especially if you've been doing one like a long or short form like I do each day, then you want to lock it in. And so to lock that energy in, you take your index finger and your middle finger, you push them on your pubic bone, you put the back of your hands together and you zip it up, literally all the way up, get to your mouth, lock it in. And you do that 3 times total. Do it again 2 more times. And there you have it. Now, when I do Tai Chi, we always begin and end Tai Chi with our salute, which is a gentle fist where you still have kind of an opening there. And then it's like you're punching into your other hand, but then your thumb is going to cover that hole because this represents a dragon with a strength, which is strength. This represents friendship. So friendship over strength. And we bow. Okay, so there you go. You've experienced Tai Chi. And the good news is I've done Tai Chi with Marines and with motorcycle Harley drivers and everything in between, and you don't have to turn in your man card. And you can just benefit from the things that come from doing Tai Chi. Now, let me ask y'all, how do you feel after doing that?
Pretty chill.
Yep, calm.
Good.
Talos?
Yeah, good. Sorry.
So chill, you can't speak.
That's right. That happens sometimes.
Awesome. Well, Beth, how can people reach out to you and learn more?
Well, I have a website. It's called refuelingyourlife.com. And there's a lot of information there. As I mentioned, I focus with homeschool. So I have a specific tab for homeschoolers, and there's some videos there if you want to just try out my Embrace the Universe or something like that. I also can be found on Facebook, Beth Young, 5 Pillars of Health. And also my book, you'll be seeing them publicized there. My book's title is 52 Game-Changing Strategies to Embrace the Great Calm and Elevate Your View. And so, the great calm comes from a scripture in the New Testament, Mark 4:39. And I want you to picture this. Christ is out there in the Sea of Galilee. He's sleeping in the boat and there's this horrible tempest going on. And he wakes up and he arose and he rebuked the wind. And he said unto the sea, peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And what I have found, and I'll try not to get emotional, that there is a lot of crap out there that is always these tempests in our life and in our heart and in our mind. And I want to be a part of the great calm. I want to be hands to help someone be calmer, to find that peace in their life and in their homes and in their families and in their work. And so I'm grateful that you allowed me to be on your show today. I'm grateful to be able to share that we all can go from wherever we start and traverse all these crazy places and find our way to where we need to be. And along the way, good things happen. And we can find those as we're looking for them. There's always good in everything. There's always good in everything. And I found that because I seek to do that. Part of my daily mindfulness is I have what I call my scripture journal, but I start with Father's hand today. And so I write what happened yesterday that I'm grateful for, either good things that happened or a time when I maybe felt prompted to go reach out to a friend and they needed me, or to do a specific thing, or something as simple as that guy ran the red light and I'm really glad that I wasn't pulling into the intersection too quickly. I just look for things to be grateful for. And then as I study, I will write down the things I'm learning because they're unique to me. And I'm amazed because as I'm writing it, I'll think of, oh, you need to call your daughter and tell her that. Or I'll write it, oh, you need to do this, or you need to tell your husband about that. And it helps strengthen those relationships. And then I do my exercises. I have a workout I do each day. It varies from day to day. And now that the weather's nice, I get to go out and ride my bike again. And then my cool down is Tai Chi. But every day, if you'd like to join me, several of my students at 11:11 Mountain Time and 3:33, we will stop and do that centering move when our timer goes off. And with each one, I think of Kai. And then the next one I think of Anne. And the next one I think of, my 7 students that we're doing this together. And you're welcome to join me now that you know how to do that. And just take a moment to pause and think of someone else, because that brings a lot of joy to your life as well. So there you have it. Any other questions, or have I rattled on way too long?
No, I don't think we have any more questions. We're so delighted that you joined us today and shared this with our listeners. And Kai said the simple movements of the warm up and cool downs of Tai Chi has always made her feel looser than she would ever expect, which is wonderful. And I actually did a class with you, Beth, and it was invigorating. It was calming, but also energizing at the same time. And that was a really cool feeling to experience. So thank you so much for coming here and sharing your gifts.
My pleasure. And Melanie, bless her, she came out in the middle of winter. It wasn't winter, but it felt like it. It was maybe 40 or 50 degrees, and we're all in our clothes out at the lake. It was the last Tai Chi at the lake we did. It was too darn cold, but she's a trooper.
But it was
too.
awesome. It was definitely awesome. So yeah, if you're local, definitely check her out. You said in May you're going to be starting back up?
We'll start back on the regular live classes, but the free ones will start in April.
Oh, in April. Okay, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thanks again, Beth.
Absolutely. Thanks for including me in all your fun.